Got to understand what happens from here is in our hands. From mighty kingdoms of a distant land, we're gonna turn the world upside down, and yes, we can. We just gotta rise up, and keep rising, rise up, rise up, rise up, and keep rising, rise up. We've been marching so long. How far is it to get to where we're going? Don't you know together we are strong? We're gonna fight the madness till it's gone. We just gotta rise up, and keep rising, rise up, rise up, rise up, and keep rising, rise up. Belongs to the people, belongs to the people, belongs to the people, belongs to the people. The power belongs to the people, belongs to the people, belongs to the people. Just gotta rise keep rising, keep rising up. We gotta keep on rising. We gotta keep on rising.
Welcome to the International Women's Day event. My name is Mumina Saradar, and I'm the Wellness Coordinator and a professional medical Arabic interpreter at the National Test Service Center. So what's the difference between equality and equity? And why it's important to acknowledge and value this? The International Women's Day 2023 campaign, Embrace Equity campaign theme seeks the world to be talking about why equal opportunities is no longer enough. And in fact, it might be exclusionary rather than inclusive. So let's provide a basic definition for each word. Equality means each individual or group of people is given the same resources or opportunities. On the other hand, equity recognizes that each individual has their own unique circumstances, and it's fair to allocate the exact resources and opportunities to reach an equal outcome. To me, equity is symbolized in the Syrian mother. A Syrian mother raises typically more than one child. As they continue to grow, she acknowledges that each child is different, has different personality, different learning style, and different developmental needs. She continues to provide each child their unique resources until she sees or watches years later that they achieved a successful and bright future. Together, we can embrace equity.
Hello, everyone. I'm Leisha Carr. I'm a longtime board member of Nationality Service Center, and I'm honored to welcome you to this year's International Women's Celebration. For over 100 years, NSC's mission has been to provide immigrants with the services to build a self-sustaining and dignified future. We understand, though, that equal opportunities are not enough. Our clients start from different places and require equitable levels of service to meet them where they are. As we embrace equity for women in particular, we recognize the gaps that still exist for women in access to education, economic opportunity, and in medical outcomes. At NSC, we are dedicated to closing those gaps for all our clients and all women, and especially for our future, like my daughter in this picture, Naomi. So on behalf of NSC, I wish all of you a happy Women's Day. And yes, I'll do the same to embrace equity for women.
We must knock down the barriers that hold women back and do it with energy and passion.
Em nome das mulheres que falam português no Banco Mundial, feliz Dia Internacional das Mulheres.
ウーマノミクスで経済を成長させよう。
I am proud to have been raised by women, taught by women, and challenged by women.
Ukurusha umugore akurusha urugo.
Women are society's creators and keepers.
Proud to be a girl.
Who wants to do it again?
Hi, everyone. My name is Gwen Soffer, and I am the manager of wellness at Nationality Service Center. I'm very happy to introduce Reverend Naomi Washington Leapart, who is the director for faith-based and interfaith affairs for the city of Philadelphia. In this role, she serves as a public-facing leader, liaison, and subject matter expert for the mayor's office on local and national matters that impact diverse communities of faith. She also manages the Mayor's Commission on Faith-Based and Interfaith Affairs. Naomi is also an adjunct professor of theology and religious studies at Villanova University. She also directs the Villanova Gospel Choir. In 2019, Naomi received the Powell House Stracciolini Award for Teaching Excellence. Prior to working in city government, Naomi was the Faith Work Director for the National LGBTQ Task Force, the country's oldest National LGBTQ Justice and Equality Group. In that role, she coordinated the task force's public faith messaging, national advocacy, and leadership development in faith communities.
Hello, I am the Reverend Naomi Washington Leaphart, and I proudly serve the city of Philadelphia as the Director of Faith-Based and Interfaith Affairs in the Mayor's Office of Public Engagement. I'm also an adjunct professor of theology and religious studies at Villanova University and Arcadia University. So I'm interested in the moral formation of our society, both in the public space, in the political space, and in the personal social space. I want to begin this reflection by telling you a story. Long, long ago, in an ancient land far, far away, a census was taken of all the men in the community over the age of 20. Census taking then was similar to census taking today. The census determined how shared resources like land and like power were distributed among the community. And in that ancient time, each male counted in the census was connected to a clan, a family system. So this story goes that the clan of Zelophehad, the patriarch of his family, had no sons, only daughters. Their names were Mala, Noah, Hogla, Milcah, and Tirzah. According to customary practice, Zelophehad's 5 daughters were not counted in the census and were also not able to receive any land as their inheritance. So after Zelophehad died, these sisters faced the challenge of their future, of their legacy. How could the family name continue? They could have reacted by keeping silent in their grief, accepting as natural the rule that was imposed upon them to follow. They had lost their father, and they had also lost their right to any of the family's land. It would be understanding, we would understand if they sat back and counted their losses, lamenting the situation. But these 5 sisters refused to accept the theft of misogyny. They rejected a custom that was both inadequate and unjust. They came before the leaders of the community to claim their rights. They walked boldly into the place where only high-ranking men were allowed to congregate, to the place that was considered the most holy, the most authoritative, to the place where women were absolutely not welcome. And they spoke there with determination. Here's what they said. Our father died in the wilderness, and he has left no sons. Why should the name of our father be taken away from his clan, us, because he had no son? Now, I mentioned that I am a faith leader. I'm a Christian minister. And though the sacred text of my tradition has been used to diminish and ignore and violate women for centuries, it's also possible, I believe, to find in that same text stories of resistance and equity hidden right there in plain sight. This is one of those stories. You might know already that this story of Zelophehad's 5 daughters is from the biblical book of Numbers. So you might be wondering, what happened? What happened at the end of the story? Well, the text says that after Mala, Noah, Hogla, Milcah, and Tirzah made their case, the most powerful leader of the community, Moses, discloses that he is unable to assess the situation. He was simply stumped and stunned in response. He brings their case before God, and God responds by unequivocally supporting the sisters' demand. God says the plea of the daughters of Zelophehad is just. Now, not only did their request receive divine approval, but the daughters' claim to dignity, power, and property also established a new precedent that secured the right of inheritance for any daughter in these same circumstances. God said to Moses, "You speak to the Israelites and tell them that if a man dies and has no son, then pass their inheritance on to his daughter." This story of these 5 daughters, these 5 sisters, these 5 women offers a compelling lesson for all of us who believe that somehow our destiny is fixed in this world on fire. It's a lesson for those of us who believe that justice might have just abandoned us. We've been fighting for so long to gain respect and equal rights in this patriarchal world. But I agree with Rabbi Sylvina Shaman, who writes that perhaps the most important legacy of Zelophehad's daughters is their call to take hold of life with our own hands, to move from the place that the others have given us, the status that others have given us, or that we decided to keep because we felt immobilized, ashamed. It's a call to walk boldly into the places where we are not welcome, even if it means interrupting the very center of sexist power. What gave these 5 women the courage to face the great leader Moses and to challenge the traditional order of inheritance? Well, I'm reminded of my favorite poem by Alice Walker, author, cultural critic. The poem is called "Be Nobody's Darling." I'll read it for you. Be nobody's darling. Be an outcast. Take the contradictions of your life and wrap around you like a shawl to parry stones to keep you warm. Watch the people succumb to madness with ample cheer. Let them look askance at you, and you askance reply. Be an outcast. Be pleased to walk alone, uncool, or line the crowded riverbeds with other impetuous fools. Make a merry gathering on the bank where thousands perished for brave hurt words they said. But be nobody's darling. Be an outcast, qualified to live among your dead. This is the word of inspiration and encouragement I want to offer all of us who have joined the struggle for equity, gender equity, women's equity. We're going to get there not because we're nice or convivial or congenial or rule followers, but because we're willing to break tradition, break custom, and interrupt the spaces where we were never invited by being nobody's darling. I hope that you're encouraged today. Thank you.
On the 9th of October 2012, the Taliban shot me on the left side of my forehead. They thought that the bullet would silence us, but they failed.
I did everything in my power to be a good student. I dreamed of one day going to one of the best universities in America. But despite my efforts, there were still people in my life who told me that I was setting my sights too high, that a girl like me couldn't get into an elite university.
My identity is challenged, and my actions are heavily scrutinized. I am simultaneously simultaneously silenced into shame while being expected to apologize for the actions of a small group of people, we all have a responsibility to challenge a growing culture of ignorance rather than justifying xenophobia and prejudice under the veil of free speech.
It is okay to be scared. It is okay to cry. Everything is okay, but giving up should not be an option. They always say that failure is not an option. Failure should be an option, because when you fail, you get up, and then you fail, and then you get up, and that keeps you going.
You know what it's like when a family struggles to make ends meet. You know what it's like to be overlooked and underestimated because of who you are or what you believe in or where you come from. And the world needs more girls like you. And the world needs more girls like you growing up to lead our parliaments and our boardrooms and our courtrooms and our universities. We need you. We need people like you tackling the pressing problems we face: climate change and poverty, violent extremism, disease.
We have this thing in minds. We call it perfection. We want everything perfect. We want ourselves to be perfect. There is this image in our head about everything: perfect life, perfect relationships, perfect career, perfect amount of money that we need to earn no matter what. Nothing is perfect in this world. We all are perfectly imperfect, and that is perfectly all right.
You might never fail on the scale I did, but some failure in life is inevitable. It is impossible to live without failing at something, unless you live so cautiously that you might as well not have lived at all, in which case you fail by default.
Weakness, fear, and hopelessness died. Strength, power, and courage was born.
So we'd love to hear from you as you share what equity means to you. If you feel comfortable, please place it in the chat so we can all see what it means to you personally, maybe specifically from your community, anything that you'd like to share with us about what equity means to you. And you can continue to add that throughout the rest of the presentation.
Jeg heter Selma. Og jeg heter Martin. Jeg heter Ask. Jeg heter Victoria. Jeg heter Lars. Og jeg heter Felicia.
Nå har jeg en liten jobb til dere. Jeg tenkte dere skulle putte de blå ballene i den ene vasen, og de rosa i den andre.
Okay. Skal vi ta rosa i den og blå i den da? Nei. Omvendt. Blå i denne.
Men nå skal dere få belønningen deres.
Oi. Hva er dette for noe? Hva er dette for noe?
Ok, og nå kan dere åpne øynene.
Oi.
Jeg fikk mer. Molly, grunnen til at du har fått mindre enn Thomas, det er faktisk fordi du er jente.
Det er kjemperart. Det er ikke bra. Det er skikkelig urettferdig.
Hva tenker du, Alicia?
Vi har jobbet helt likt, og så får vi ikke det samme. Vi var like flinke, og vi burde få like mye.
Hvorfor det?
Fordi ellers så blir det urettferdig. Det er liksom ikke forskjell på jente og gutt, da. Jeg tenker at det er feil.
Hvorfor er det feil?
Jenter er ikke mindre verdt enn gutter. Det har ikke noe å si hvis man er gutt eller jente. Sånn, jeg tror det er like mye da. Nei. Nå har vi like mye. Nå har vi like mye.
So I'm happy to introduce our second speaker. Inda Noratasari is a writer, translator, journalist, and refugee specialist. A writer and a community activist for more than 20 years, Inda's writing and workshops amplify the voices of and give space to immigrant communities, especially refugees, to document and share their own stories. In doing this, she hopes to change people's consciousness and understanding of the immigrant experience. In Philadelphia, Inda was born and raised in Indonesia. She participated in establishing the first independent journalist union in 1994, when Indonesia was still under the Suharto regime. Inda strongly believes in the power of writing as a medium of expression and social justice, and is also the founder and chief editor of Indonesian Lantern and a contributor to Newswork.org and other media.
Hi, my name is Inda. I'm the Commercial Loan Officer and Technical Assistance Officer at CBAC. I think equity means that everyone is given the same opportunity to be successful. Equity evokes fairness and justice, and I believe everyone deserves hope, respect, and fair opportunity. We need more equitable future for all community members, and I think we have to break down the barriers in economic opportunity, health, education, and other fields. I work for a CDFI or Community Development Financial Institution, or a non-profit lender. We give technical assistance, capital to business owners with low interest rate, and we get the funding from the government and from other resources. So our job is to give people the opportunity to build their assets and to have the same economic opportunity than other people. And I think it's very important for low-income people, especially people of color, to be able to build their assets. And as we know, the gap, the wealth gap between the people of color and other groups is very wide, and so we have to focus on giving the technical assistance and the opportunity to people of color, including business owners and first-time home buyers, students, and people who need access to capital. I think everyone can contribute in building equity in our community, school, neighborhoods, workplace. I think we need to reflect on our biases. Do we have biases on equity? And we can educate ourselves by reading books, by going to trainings, by joining discussions. And then after that, we need to find ways to contribute to build equity, especially as people of color. We need to do more work because the fact is, people of color need more help in building their equity. Equity relates to social justice, social and racial justice. It means we have to meet communities where they are and then give them the opportunities and the resources that they need. I want to share with you how so many businesses owned by people of color during the pandemic didn't get the same opportunities, didn't get the same funding or technical assistance from the government or from donors or from funding. So many of them couldn't survive the pandemic. So it shows that we all need to work together to create equity for, especially for members of the communities who really need help. We can reduce wealth disparities and improve economic opportunities with financial training, technical assistance, and also workforce development. We can also help people with first-time homebuyer grant, so we can reduce homelessness, because those are the problems that we in Philadelphia face right now. Poverty, homelessness, low-paying jobs, and we all need to work together to create the same opportunities for people who need them. So embracing equity, in my opinion, also means that we need to partner with other agencies or other communities to solve our problems. We need to listen to the needs of the other communities or agencies, and then we can work together. We should work together because the problems are too big for one agency or several groups to solve. And then creating equity, embracing equity means that we share our hope together, we share our dreams, we share opportunities, and we work together. I admire what Nationality Service Center is doing today on this International Women's Day celebration. I think the Nationality Service Center has been doing a lot. I used to volunteer there, helping people of color, especially immigrants and refugees, to achieve equality and equity in Philadelphia. And I want more people to know what Nationality Service Center has been doing, and we can also use the resources that they have. And I believe other agencies in Philadelphia have great resources as well for people who want to buy a house. They can get grants or free money to buy a house, and the total grants that you can get is around $26,000 and from different programs. And I think it's great to achieve equity. And you can also get grants to for your school or to start a business, and so many programs are available in Philadelphia for people to be able to take advantage of to achieve equity. And I think it's important that we work together, we share our resources, we listen to each other, we treat each other with respect, we treat each other with fair opportunity, and we work together. Events like this should be done more by us, and probably we can meet in person, and we can share our resources. We can meet in person and introduce each other, know each other better, to be able to help each other better as well. Because, you know, especially economic problems, poverty in Philadelphia is huge, and we need to work together to solve it. So some practical tips that I can share with you today are please try to get free money first, or grants. They are available everywhere, especially you know, by CDFIs or nonprofit, and try to get, if you have to get loans, try to get the loans from nonprofit lenders, and then make sure that you get very low interest rate. It's great if you can get the interest rate below 5%, which my office is offering. And also make sure that the lenders that you work with will help you if you have some problems. They make sure that they can help you with technical assistance, because technical assistance is one of the most important thing that many business owners need to be able to grow their business. And also technical assistance is also very important for students who want to get you know, tuition assistance, or grants, or scholarships, or just for individuals who want to buy a house, for example. So make sure that you are able to get technical assistance from nonprofits, and it's free, but it's really, really helpful in building your equity. As a community development financial institution professional, I believe a more equitable future is needed for our community to be able to achieve the same economic opportunity. And let's share opportunities, let's work together, and let's solve our problems together to achieve more equity. Embrace equity.
What do you see when you look at me? What is my place? To where am I confined? To whom do I belong? From which of my pursuits, dreams should I resign? I am she, bearing the image of the divine. I am we, an army done waiting in line. Ubuntu, do you think we've gone too far? I am because we are. It's the power of we over the power of me. Together we rise. Together we stand tall. Together no force of hell can surpass us all. We ride those waves of change with a twinkle in our eye. We walk on water when they thought we would die. The tide of history sweeps toward justice. The current of destiny pulls toward the brave. Can't you see when you look at me? This bird flocks together the way it should be. Battered, bruised, used, we rise. Watinta bafaz, watinta mbokoto, we rise. Strike a woman, you strike a rock. We rise. Creators, bosses, leaders, changers, we rise. There's more than enough room at this table. We rise. For you know we are just as able. We rise. What do you see when you look at me? Huh. Don't tell me. I'm already free. Come, rise with me. Through it all, still, we rise.
So you may have noticed in the flyer that we sent out that we're also doing a community art project, and we'd love for you to be part of it. The theme of this year's International Women's Day is Embrace Equity. And the pose, as this beautiful young Afghan girl is showing us, is the pose. So if you'd like to participate, please take a photo of yourself in this pose, or your friends, your family. You can include anyone you like, and you can email it to me. My email address is here on the slide. I ask that you do this by March 10th so that you can be included in the project. And if in the content of the email, if you can just indicate that you give me permission to use your image for our art project. I'd love to receive that from you. So take a second to write down my email. Please send it to me by March 10th, and I'll send back a confirmation that I got your email, and you will also receive a copy of the art project as well.
Raise my arms to the sky. On my knees I pray. I'm not afraid anymore. I will walk through that door. Dance, rise, walk. Dance, rise. I can see a world where we all live, safe and free from all oppression. No more rape or incest or abuse. Women are not a possession. You never own me, don't even know me. I'm not invisible, I'm simply wonderful. I feel my heart for the first time racing. I feel alive, I feel so amazing.
So we'd like to thank everybody for joining us during your lunchtime today. I hope you enjoyed the presentations and the songs, and thank you. Embrace equity, and please send us your photos so we can include you in the art project. Have a great rest of your day.